Chapter 8. The Bird Feeder. Sunday morning followed another good night of sleep for Corey. No loneliness, no emptiness, no talking birds. "Ben and I will be heading to church at 8, Ellen said as he walked into the kitchen. "I guess that's something we forgot to talk about. You're welcome to join us, but it's okay if you stay here." Corey hadn't given it much thought. He had been raised as a Lutheran, more or less. He remembered going to Sunday school when he was younger and sitting in the church pew with his parents, but as he got older, they seemed to go to church less and less. There was always something else happening on Sunday. He knew he believed in God, but beyond that, he wasn't quite sure. It was like the title of one of his dad's favorite songs, "Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For." Corey thought about the time his father got into a heated discussion with two well-dressed people who came to the door of their apartment. They said his dad would be going to hell because he believed in evolution. "Sure, I'll go to church with you." Church service was what Corey had expected. The organ was too loud and the people sang too slowly. On the way out, Reverend Olson was standing at the door, shaking each person's hand. His wind-blown gray hair framed the thickest glasses Corey had ever seen. "Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Ellen," he said. "Who is this fine young man with you this morning?" "Reverend Olson," Ben said formally, "I'd like you to meet Corey Nelson. Corey, this is Reverend Olson." Corey reached out his hand. Reverend Olson surprised Corey by giving him a hug instead. Not a quick hug like when he used to visit his grandma on weekends, but a long hug, long enough to make Corey feel a little self-conscious. "It's good to meet you, Corey. I can't tell you how glad we are to have you here." Turning to Ellen and Ben, Reverend Olson said, "This was the right time. I'm happy for you." Corey felt like he had walked into a theater and missed the first half of the movie. There was something he wasn't being told. Before he could figure it out, Ben interrupted his thoughts. "Hey, let's stop at the bakery on the way home and grab some donuts." "Works for me," Corey said. The drive home seemed to go quickly. The air had a spring-like feel to it as they stepped out of the car. It looked like the warm weather would be hanging around for yet another day. "As long as it's not bitter cold outside, why don't you help me put up a bird feeder on the clothesline post?" Ben asked. "Well, sure, but could we wait until we find out if those donuts are any good?" Corey replied. Ben laughed and they went into the house. It seemed a little odd to be putting up a feeder so late in the year. Many people stopped feeding the birds by April. Corey remembered how his mother would make a point of taking down all the feeders and washing them each spring. She was always concerned that in the warmer weather, diseases could be spread from bird to bird. She would also point out that the birds really don't need the feeders. They would do just fine without them. She had said that the only reason people feed birds is to get a better look at them. The Rains feeder was handmade. A wooden platform had an opening to hold an upside-down gallon cider jug full of sunflower seeds. A larger platform hung below the mouth of the jug to catch the seeds. Corey liked the simple design of the feeder. He never understood how people could spend money on those plastic feeders made to look like barns. It seemed as if they liked looking at the feeder more than looking at the birds. His mother's feeders had been a strange collection of wooden boxes, hanging tubes, and wire cages to hold suet. 2 years before, he had helped his father pick out a birthday present for her. It was a microphone connected to a speaker in the house that let the sound of the birds be heard indoors. She loved listening to the birds so much that Corey had to listen to his father's albums with headphones on. Ben stood on a ladder he'd stuck into the crusty snow while Corey held the feeder from underneath. Working on keeping his balance and hitting the nails, Ben struggled to attach the feeder to the top of the wooden post. Corey did his best to steady the ladder with his feet and keep the feeder centered on the post with his hands. He also thought about which way he would dive if the ladder fell. Ben would hit the snow. Corey, on the other hand, would be on the receiving end of a flying hammer. Ben drove in the last nail as Corey noticed the small writing on the underside of the feeder. Written in pencil, it said, B+, nice work.